Oh, yeah. Oh, great. Okay, everybody, how are you today? Can you hear me very well? Okay. Oh, great. How are you all doing? Okay. I hope it's good now. Okay. Awesome. 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 Okay, you're all welcome tonight to the Protocol and Security Code. Welcome. I want to welcome every one of us that have tuned in. You want to take a moment to share this video, share it, let people know that we are live, and they can join us now for this edition, the March edition of the Protocol and Security Code. It promises to be very enlightening, very educative tonight. So, welcome. Take time out, call your friends, call colleagues, tell them we're live. They should join using my handle. I would like to have everyone in this class tonight, in this session tonight. I'd like to have every one of us in this session tonight. Okay, if you can hear me, please just leave in the comment section that you can hear me. Oh, great. Okay, if you can hear me, can you hear me? If you oh, loud and clear, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How have you all been? Tonight, we're going to be talking about a major topic, which is the failure of protocol. The failure of protocol. Okay, I just want to give us one more minute. You want to call your friend, you want to share this, that we are live for people to join so that they don't miss out from this class, even though we're going to leave the replay right on, on this platform. Awesome, I can see you said you're doing great. Fantastic, fantastic. I want to say thank you for joining tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm sure you've been able to call some of your friends. Okay, so I'll just not to waste our time. How are you? My name is Ademola Adetuberu. I'm the founder and the chief executive officer of the Barricade Executive Protection, the founder and the CEO of the Barricade Executive Protection. And I've been practicing protocol for over 2 decades. I'm a trained and certified one of protocol best in some protocol best institutions in the world. And I am not just here only for my experience. I'm also gone through serious tutelage training. And one of the things I'll be sharing with us tonight are my experiences. Also, not only experiences, I'll be also giving us a lot of information that we need to know as protocol. Okay, so shall we start? Let's roll. Okay. Okay, I'll just quickly give us the learning objective. At the end of this training, I am so sure that every one of us taking this class tonight, this session, we will be able to understand the essence of protocol. Understand the essence of protocol. Not only are we going to be able to understand the essence of protocol, we will also be able to activate the genius inside of us to become the best, to become one of the protocol's best, one of protocol's best. And I'm so sure that at the end of tonight's session, at the end of this class, you all will be able to model what we are, what we'll be talking about tonight. We're going to be able to model this, and this will no longer, be a challenge for us or be an issue. Is that fine? I'm sure you can hear me. I'm sure you can see me. So I'll just go straight to that. Now I'm going to give you an introduction with my own story of one of the areas I learned protocol in a very bad way. I cannot, if I can't show you my scars, then it means I've not overcome them. So I'm going to be sharing with you, let me share with you a story. This happened to me. It happened to me. It happened to me about about a decade ago. About a decade ago, this happened to me about a decade ago. And let me tell you, you know what? I was serving a particular principal, and this principal had a guest. I just flew into the country, and I went with the team, to pick this person up at the airport, and we gave the person a very fantastic welcome. Give the person a very awesome, a breathtaking experience, because I believe protocol is all about experience. It's about the physical touch you bring into it. That is what I believe protocol is. So we give this person a very good, welcome. We gave him a very good experience. We picked him up, one of the with a, one of the best vehicles and all of that. And guess what? You know what happened? We I kept communicating with the principal that okay, we have arrived, we have picked up the guests, we are at XYZ, because you must get to a point where you have what's it called, landmarks where you give reports to your principal or to the team that is waiting for you and all of that. So I kept giving them information, and finally we got to destination. We arrived at the venue, which happens to be the principal's home. It happens to be the principal's home. And on getting to the house, I already said, yes, we've arrived. And the principal has acknowledged, the message that we have arrived with his guests. Now, guess what? I brought the principal down from the vehicle, and we walked up straight to the door. And you know what? The door was locked. You heard me? The door was locked. So I was like, oh my God. Now, the guest of the principal was standing right behind me. The door is locked. I was like, what's going on? I already said we are here. For you, you may think, what's the failure there? The failure there in protocol is that we don't assume. There is no assumption in protocol. There is no assumption in protocol. That is the failure there. So what's the failure there? I ought, before bringing the guests of the principal down from the vehicle, I ought to have gone to confirm, to verify that that door was open. And that I did not do. So you know what? We waited for minutes. I was waiting with the principal for minutes by the door. That's a failure. Now, you can imagine if we how they experience the treatment we have given this particular guest of this principal, the pomps, the pageantries, the red carpets, oh, the lovely vehicles, everything, sharp team, sharpshooters, eagle guys, everything was pump, everything. But we got to the place. I assumed that because I had reported that we have arrived, the door was open. And I brought the principal down from the vehicle. I brought the guest down from the vehicle. And we walked up to the vehicle. And unfortunately, the door was locked. That is a failure. That is a failure. You may think, oh, well, that is no big deal. It is a big deal in protocol. There is no assumption. Protocol, you want to do protocol, then you're going to do protocol well. No assumption in protocol. And that's going to take me to the next slide of mine tonight. What is failure in protocol? What's the definition of failure? The definition of failure in protocol is failure is the or omission, neglect or omission of expected or required action. Did you get that? Failure is the neglect or omission of expected or required action. So, expected or required action, neglect or omission. I expected that the door would have been opened, but I neglected to verify that the door was opened before bringing down the principal. Before bringing out the guests. That is the failure. Failure is what? The neglect or omission. Neglect or omission of expected or required action. So That is the definition of failure. Also, I would like to say failure is the state. This is not a definition. I'm just giving you a further, meaning of the topic tonight, the failure of protocol. Failure is the state or condition of not meeting a desirable or intended objective. Failure is the state or condition of not meeting a desirable or intended objective. Now, you can tell in my story, my personal story that I just shared with you, that the intended objective was to have a seamless flow till I hand over this guest to my principal. But unfortunately, we had a seamless flow all the way from the arrival, the pickup, the drive right to the principal's location, and we got there. And the last part, which was I ought to have verified that the door was open, and the door wasn't open, and I took this guest out of the vehicle, walked up, and we waited for almost 8 minutes by the door. That isn't right. That is not what? That is not right. And that is what we're talking about, the failures of protocol. I just give you my example. So feel free to share yours with us. Failure is the state or condition of not meeting a desirable or intended objective. And I just told you also the definition of failure in protocol is neglect or omission of expected or required action. It's so important, we pay attention to all of this. Now, I'm going to give us a quote as I go ahead with my presentation today. If you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. Ken Robinson said, if you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. One of the things that has affected most of us today is because of the fear of failure. We don't want to fail. Nobody definitely wants to fail. But honestly, if, like I just said about the quote I just gave to you now, if you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. That is to say, when you are wrong, accept that you are wrong. Take responsibility of that error. Take responsibility of that failure. Then what? Own it. Take ownership of it, and document it so that it will not repeat itself again. This is so important. We have a lot to share tonight. So I'm going to be giving us some case studies, for not failing, case studies that will help us not to fail. Then we have a lot to talk about tonight. If time permits us, we'll quickly do that. And the first one I'm going to give to us tonight is public relations. Everything about protocol is all about how to relate with the public. Everything about protocol, name it, write it out, list it, have a checklist, do everything. Everything about protocol. There cannot be a meeting of presidents without protocol. There cannot be meetings. International. Conferences without protocol. So everything about protocol is all about how to what? How we relate with the public. How we relate with the public. Don't forget, the topic tonight is what? The failure of protocol. So when you fail at relating well with the public, when you do not do your part in relating well to the public, then you failed. How you represent your principal. Yes. How do you represent your principal? Even when you are doing nothing. When I say you are doing nothing, you are not even with your principal. Probably you are out, with your family, or you are yourself, you're by yourself at the mall, at the place. How do you coordinate yourself? Because when people see you, it's not you that they see, it's the principal that they see. Yes, when they see you, it's not you they're looking at, they see the principal. How do you communicate the principal message to the public? That's why I said everything about protocol is all about how to relate with the public. How do you communicate the messages? Excuse me. How do you communicate the messages, the information that the principal wanted to give to the public? How well you and I know, without mentioning names, of how many special advisors, media advisors, how they've ruined the reputation of their principal by what they turn out, by what they dish out to the public. Being rude to people because your principal is coming or passing, it is about relating, that's about public relations. Now, you may feel, what is the biggie about that? My responsibility is to clear, you may feel your responsibility is to clear the way. Yes, your responsibility is to clear the all way, but not in a rude manner. Not in a rude manner. Not in a rude manner. So all of these happens to be what makes people to have what? An impression about your principal. So you have to pay attention to this. You cannot afford to be rude to people because your principal is passing, right? Not educating your principal on the settings of the meeting. I've given this example before that we're going with the principal and his guests for to have dinner, and the restaurant that was chosen. At that restaurant, it's a law there that no one comes in with a short knicker. You got to be properly dressed. And I said to my principal, hello, sir, there's Your Excellency, the rules and regulation of this restaurant is what? No short knicker. So let's tell the guest to change and, be in compliance with what the dress code of the restaurant is. So now, when you are going with your principal to a meeting, for luncheons, for meetings, for conferences, do you know the dress code? Do you know the dress code? You are supposed to know so that you can what? Advise your principal if it's supposed to be a formal dress or an informal one. So not knowing what your principal should wear to turn up for an event, that way you're going to disgrace your principal, because what he will wear will not fit in. What he will wear will not fit in. Public relations is all about image. The image, the look, and perception. What you want the public to think about them. That is what public relations is all about. Image and what? Perception. Image, the look. Perception, what you want the public to what? To think about them. This is what's it called? Public relations is all about. The next one I'm going to be talking about, which I said earlier, at my introduction, is what? Assumption. No assumption. No assumption. You cannot assume to say, oh, you believe everything is going to be fine. No, you have to put everything to be fine. You don't assume everything will be fine in protocol. And when I'm talking about protocol, I'm not talking about protocol only. I'm talking about protocol. I'm talking about security. I'm talking about aids to the principal. Okay, it's all round. So there cannot be what? Assumption. We don't assume in protocol. We put things in place. We put things in place. That is what protocol is all about. We put what? Things in place. The next one I'm going to talk about is cultural differences. Cultural differences. You're traveling out of the country, or you are even within the country, but you're going to another state. Culture differs. Culture differs. How do culture differs? How do culture differs? Who does know? Can I quickly have people put in the comment section about what's it called? Cultural differences. What do you understand by cultural differences? Can anybody just put things? Can I have 2, 3 people that will just type in the comment section what they understand by the differences in culture? The difference is what? In culture. Okay. I'm sure you are typing, but I will just go ahead and mention some. No, I'm going to just go ahead and mention some. So now, cultural what? Differences. Now, in cultural difference, how do culture differs? The dress. You need to find out if you are going to you are going with a principal to another state, to another country. How do they dress in that place? So that you don't look what's it called? These are new people in this country. These are new people in the state. How do they dress? What language do they speak? What food do they eat? What about gender and equality? You need to find out how about gender and equality. Do they do first lady, or they don't do first lady? What are their beliefs? You need to find out their beliefs. You also need to find out what practices, what are the things, that culture you're entering into, you're going to. What are their practices? What is the social hierarchy there? What music do they listen to? What music? What are their customs? As a protocol officer, you must be well read and informed so that you can inform your principal. Failure to know all of these things I had mentioned definitely leads to the failure of protocol, which is not the failure of your principal, it is the failure of you, the protocol, you, the personal assistant, you, the security officer, because it's your responsibility. If you know you are traveling to a particular place with your principal, to find out how do they dress so you can dress like them. Language, what language do they speak? So that if you don't know how to speak that language, you get an interpreter, a translator ready. What food do they eat? So if you need to pack food from your base to go with you, you do that. What is it? What about gender and equality? What are their beliefs in this place you're going? What do they practice? What religion do they practice? Are they Christians? Are they Muslims? Are they atheists? You need to find out all of this. What is the social hierarchy there? Where you are going, that program you are going, what's the social hierarchy? What music do they listen to? What are their customs? Do you know that in some cultures you don't shake? You must not give a handshake. Now, if you do not know, then you're going to embarrass your principal. Yeah, you're going to embarrass your principal, because if they don't give a handshake and you got there and your principal gave a handshake, then that will embarrass your principal. And that's the failure of protocol. So you need to find out all the cultural differences. You need to find out, know their taboos. There are certain countries that you don't give a gift that has three-letter words. You need to know so that you will not go and give such gift tomorrow. Your principal will not go and give such gift tomorrow, then it turns to be a problem. Information management is one of the ways the failure of protocol can be curbed. Information management. How well do we manage information? I'm not going to dwell so much on that because I'm sure you know a lot about that. Reporting. Yes, as protocol officers, I know you're very busy. We are very busy because you're coordinating, you are ensuring protection, you're ensuring public relations is done, you're ensuring public diplomacy is in place, you're ensuring protocol is in place. But however, in all of these busy schedules of yours, you must find time to send reports to your principals. One of the ways you lose integrity, one of the ways you lose your office, one of the ways you lose your trust, you lose with your principal is delayed reports. A delayed report is no report. Once that report is delayed, there's no report. Or if somebody else has given him that report, the moment you did not send the report, the time you're supposed to send that report loses weight. It loses the strength it's supposed to have. It loses it. So reporting, it's so important. It's one of what? The failures of protocol officers. Excuse me. Sorry, apologies. I was treating what's it called? Fever. So not fever, I was treating running a cold. So my apologies. I just said I've already committed to today, and I have to make sure I deliver. If not, I would have changed the program to another day. So apologies for that, for my cough and all of that. Is that fine? So a delayed report is no report. When that report is delayed, it has been watered down. It will lose the taste it's supposed to have, the weight it's supposed to carry. So a delayed report is no report. Ensure you report to your principal on time and in time. In fact, as a matter of fact, ensure nobody else gave that report before you. Yeah. Ensure nobody else gave that report before you. Now I'm going to go to the next point. The next point is financials. Financials. As a protocol officers, I know, because one of the things our principal, gets to do is to trust us with their resources. They give us their resources to keep. They give us their resources, their cards, their cash. All of these. What's it called? Is giving is with us. So not keeping records can lead you to being tagged as if you don't have integrity with money. When you don't keep records, every kobo, every penny, every dollar you spend, you on from your principal's resource, record it. Don't leave them in your head. You know that an adage says the sharpest words, if the faintest ink is better than the sharpest brain, isn't it? Don't keep them in your heads. Have a small journal, a small book that can enter into your breast pocket. And what do? Every kobo you take from their resources after you've gotten approval, document. This way, your integrity will be intact with your principal. This way, your integrity will be intact with your principal. We are looking at failures of protocol because the moment your principal lacks what's called, it lacks trust in you, then you're gone. You're gone. So it's so important. It's so important that what every kobo you take from their resource, document, and what, don't forget the other nugget I gave, report it. Even when they don't ask, send the report to them. Always be ahead of your principal when it comes to reports. Don't let them ask for it. Also, managing aids, because I understand there are a lot of tussles. There are a lot of tussles. Everybody wants to have the ear of the principal. Everyone wants to be the bride of the principal. Everyone wants to be the Joseph of the principal. Everyone wants to have the royal robe. So you must have wisdom that you can use to manage what? Other aides, other colleagues of yours, so that reduce envy. One of the secrets I will give to you tonight on managing aides is what? Love everyone. Even when they offend you, love them. Don't pay back. See, can I tell you the truth? I have done it before that I paid back evil for evil. Yeah, those guys have been dealing with me. You know, they've been dealing with me, and I made up my mind that I was going to deal with them too. Yes, I said I would deal with them. Me too, I will deal with them. It was my own that. Can you imagine? When they were dealing with me, the heavens did not fall. You don't have to pay back evil for evil. You don't need to. Manage your aides, manage your colleagues with what? Wisdom. Manage them with wisdom. That's all I'm going to love them genuinely. They can hate you, it's not a problem. But for you, you love them. Now I'm going to give you quadrants of failure of protocol. The quadrant of failure of protocol. Organizational and planning failures. Lack of being organized. Organizational and what? Planning failures. You know the event, you know the time your principal will step out. Why didn't you ensure the driver gets the car ready? Why didn't you ensure the personal assistant delivers the mail when it's supposed to deliver it? Why didn't you ensure the security going with you is properly dressed and ready? The principal should not be waiting for the security. The security should be waiting on the principal. Organizational and planning failures. You can fill in the blanks. In organizing conferences, make sure you dot all I's, cross all T's. Organizational what? Planning failures is one of the quadrant. The second quadrant tonight is what? Leadership and governance failures. Leadership. Leadership failure. You're not giving leadership to the team. Do you know one thing? Honestly, as protocol officers, sincerely speaking, you are the chief of staff. Yes, as the protocol officer, you are the chief of staff. That's the work of a protocol officer. You are the chief of staff. Um, Personal assistant, sincerely speaking, you need to manage the person. If you don't manage the personal assistant, it will leave what? It will leave a wide gulf, an error, which will be seen over time. If you don't manage the media team of your principal, honestly, they're going to push out rubbish which will damage the reputation of your principal. If you don't manage the security of your principal, they will deal with people while on convoy. They will deal with people. They will deal with people ruthlessly, and they will think they are doing their work, not knowing that they are putting the principal in trouble. They are damaging his reputation. They are damaging his image. So if you don't manage, see, you are what? The chief of staff. Honestly, you need to manage everyone, every aide. You need to ensure the office is set. You need to, even to the cleaners in the office of your principal, you need to ensure that what the office is neat, to the food, to everything, to the children, to the wife, to the husband. You are the chief of staff. That's the honest truth. You are the chief of staff. You are the chief of staff. That's the honest truth. So you need to manage everyone. It's your responsibility. Now, when the principal is employing you, he won't tell you you're the chief of staff, but honestly, you're the chief of staff. Quadrants of failures of protocol. We've said organizational and planning failures, leadership and governance failures, underestimation and analysis failure. You underestimated the enemy. You underestimated the crowd. You didn't put proper crowd control mechanism in place. You underestimated the crowd. You underestimated what's it called? A stranger you exposed to your principal. You did not know he has a knife inside of his jacket, and you exposed him to your principal, and you took your eyes off. You didn't search him. Underestimation and what? Analysis failure. No threat and risk research. No threat and risk assessment. You carried your principal everywhere without conducting threat and risk, knowing if that place is safe or it's not a safe place to go. Quality failures, professionalism failure, quality, quality, lack of quality, skills, there's skill failure, we call it SKA, skill, knowledge, attitude. Let me add C to it. Skill, knowledge, attitude, and competency. Competency failure. I do hope I'm communicating tonight. Competency, skill, lack of knowledge, lack of what? But good attitudes, lack of good attitudes, and what? SKAC, skill, knowledge, attitude, and competence. Competency failure. You can't afford to allow all of this. You've got to be competent at your duties. Engagement, teamwork, communication failures. These are quadrants of failures. Engagement, teamwork, and communication failures. Communication failures, not only on radio, even sending that the principal will be going for a particular meeting, XYZ, giving communication ahead to those that matter, not to those that does not matter, to those that matter. All of these are quadrants of failure of protocol. I'll give you two more and I'll run it off tonight. Of course, I don't want to mention names because I understand our reach is global. And so I would not want to, I would have given us, I have about 50 case studies of failures of protocol. Case studies that are verifiable, you can verify. But I would not want to mention any of them because I understand what's it called? Our audience is global, and of course, that definitely will call some attention. But go and begin to archive, begin to put together, study, find out case studies of failures of protocol, so that you don't end in search. You don't also end repeating history. What is my call to action tonight? My call to action as a round of this class tonight is manage information properly. Never underestimate anyone. Focus on the goal and the principle. The goal and the principle. Be prompt to do. The call to action for you tonight, I'm telling all of us, is what? Be prompt to do. Report everything. It may be the report you held back that the principal wants. And because you did not give that information, you didn't give that report, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. So report everything. Know what you are doing and be ready to defend your actions. Know what you are doing and be ready to what? Defend your actions. And lastly, tonight, on my call to action for you all, including me, for all of us, plan, prepare, prioritize, and patch. 4 P's: plan, prepare, prioritize, and patch. I'll go over my call to action again one more time, so that in case you're taking notes, which I expect you to take notes, my call to action to every one of us tonight and everyone that will listen to this session: information management, never underestimate anyone, focus on the goal and the principle, be prompt to do, report everything, know what you are doing, and be ready to defend your actions. And lastly, plan, prepare, prioritize, and patch. In conclusion tonight of this session on the failures of protocol, I'll leave us with this quote: I didn't fail the test. I just found 100 ways to doing it wrong. Benjamin Franklin said this: I didn't fail the test. I just found 100 ways to doing it wrong. So when you made a mistake, you made an error, you goofed, it doesn't mean for you to be sober, but know that you have just found, you didn't fail the test. You have only found 100 ways of not doing it. That'll be my talk for, that'll be where I'll stop tonight. I'm so sure that our learning objective for this session have been met. And I do believe that everyone now understand what the failures of protocol are, and definitely will learn from what we have shared tonight and ensure that they don't repeat history. It's good to repeat history in a good way, not in a bad way. So don't repeat history. Don't repeat these failures. Watch out for the quadrant of failure, the failures of protocol. Watch out for the nugget that I listed out and ensure that it doesn't happen to you. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm so grateful for joining. I appreciate you. I honor you. I celebrate you. We're going to see another time next month in April. Any question before I go tonight? If you have a question, you can quickly type it in. I'll take one or two before I go. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. I'm seeing your messages. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you so much. Any question? If there's none, then I would say, oh, great. Thank you very much, sir. Our learning objective was exceeded. Fantastic. Uh, I'm reading. No two culture are the same. It's basically understanding that values and morals are not in any society. Fantastic. So thank you so much. This is where we're going to draw the curtains tonight. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.